Heroes Charge is a new game for the Android market, or a relatively new game, and it's pretty fun. Uh, Take your conventional RPG style games like Final Fantasy, Breath of Fire, and mix in a little bit of arena battling, and that's what Heroes Charge is. In Heroes Charge, you can collect soul stones of heroes, summon them, and make them fight on your side in 5v5 matches. The story is okay. There's not that many cutscenes, not that many, not that much text that goes on, but it is a interesting and fun play nonetheless. Heroes Charge, I feel, captures the essence of what an old school video game is supposed to be, mixed in with a little bit of PvP and new school arena battling. So my rating of Heroes Charge is somewhere between 80 and 90. I have to play it a little more to get it a little more fleshed out. But it's a pretty fun video game for all of y'all that want to play something that's new. Note that Heroes Charge is free to play, but operates on a pay-to-play model. And what I mean by that is, although Heroes Charge is really fun, you have to pay for lives in order to continue to play. So that's a little bit of the downside. That's probably why I didn't give it a full, 100 rating or 90 rating. But nonetheless, it is a really good game design. And I'll show you more about the free-to-play model in another video that I have gripe with. But that being said, this free-to-play model kind of only takes away a little bit from the core gameplay of Heroes Charge. Now that you know what Heroes Charge is, why did I give it such a high rating? Like I said before, me being an old school gamer from Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega, and on, I've come to love the RPG series that really made Super Nintendo the way it was, that propelled PlayStation into the limelight. I really like the RPG style of battle where you have your characters on one side and your enemies on the other. One of my favorite games of all time was Final Fantasy V, and in Final Fantasy V you can collect a multitude of characters so you can have them battle for you in the whenever you reach an enemy on the world map. Heroes Charge, although does not have a world map that has an interaction between, traveling between cities or castles or countries, it does have a world map of sorts where you can compete in stages. It takes a lot of the traveling and the leveling up and grinding time of Final Fantasy and really turn it into a lot of battles that you can replay over and over again. Which is kind of like what you do in Final Fantasy, except a little bit different because right now you can just choose to enter the battle whenever you can. So that really is an interesting concept. It took all the good parts of Final Fantasy, cut down on a little bit of the grinding, but because they cut down on that grinding, they had to figure a way to make it more grindy. I think by introducing a lot of types of items, that's what it has, that's what it does. But for the most part, very interesting game overall, and because it took a lot of the elements from the classic RPGs that I like, I absolutely love. So if you love old school RPGs, this is definitely for you. The second reason why I think Heroes Charge is such a great concept and design is not only is the game beautiful, it really draws on the multiplayer battle arena series that all of us know or have heard of at one point at a time or another. Which is, it draws on the idea of 5v5 team fights and, ultimate skills, limit breakers, whatever you call it. And whenever you choose to use your skill strategically, really makes or breaks the battle. So, in essence, there's a lot of things that you could do in Heroes Charge that is simple, yet complex to make you a stronger player. As with any game, practice makes perfect. So knowing the game mechanics of Heroes Charge is really important into knowing how you excel in that whole multiplayer platform. The only gripe that I have about the multiplayer is you set up your team and you let the AI battle for you in multiplayer status. Now, that might be a good thing or a bad thing, but for me, I feel like you're always able to ascend in the arena just because your human-controlled interactions really make the AI a little bit better than what you can muster out. But if you play PvP, like human versus bots, humans will always win. However, if you're letting both AIs compete with each other, it just depends on the AI of the character that allows you to win or lose or make or break the game, really. And that's one of the gripes I do have about it, because there are special AIs that really prove your worth as a human-controlled player versus, somebody who just assembled the best AI team and can spam their ults in a heartbeat. So, with that being said in mind, this does take a little bit away from the gameplay, but not much overall for you to notice, because you're going to be trying to control these characters for the most part anyway. The last and final thing that I think Heroes Charge is really, really good at is number 3, the whole idea of a rating system. You remember putting in the endless long grinds of, Final Fantasy or Breath of Fire just so you can get an item. In Heroes Charge, they kind of chopped it in half and just gave it to you almost instantaneously. Each time you complete a level, you get something called a raid ticket, and the more levels you complete, the more raid tickets you have. Every time you use a raid ticket, you instantly beat the level again and just have the randomized drops. This brings in the really, really old school element of RPGs before, where it's just boxes and text, and you basically pick the box that you think you want to go with. That's really cool because it takes away a ton of time from fighting, whereas each battle lasts about, a minute and a half, because there's 3 battles in one whole round, and each round lasts about a minute and a half, depending on how strong your character is. You mitigate that instantly, almost, and just get the drops and rewards for it. The only thing that I have a gripe about that with is once you, because it is a pay-to-play more model, you run out of things to do really, really quickly throughout the day. And for game addicts like me, I really hate that because I have nothing else to do during the day. If I could sit back in my chair and raid all day and just do whatever I want to do, then yeah, I would do that endlessly. But for the most part, I don't do that because they really put a cap on the amount that you can play per day without buying lives with real money. So that is really annoying for me, but overall, I understand that. Coming from me, that's frustrating. But to the average player who spends about like 2-3 hours on video games a day, that would be okay because you have that many things to keep you distracted throughout the day. So with that being said, my initial impressions of Heroes Charge is actually really good. Hopefully you'll enjoy this little review and go check it out. I'll post a link down below, or I'll post a link in a highlight in a video. If you like this video, please subscribe or donate to my website, elementalist.com. Any support is appreciated. So, until next time, keep on being positive and awesome, and remember to have a little fun. I'll see you in the next video.